In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Assalamu alaikum. I am Kashaf from Chemistry Department and my ID is 018. Today I am here to present my first project of chemistry, which is SQL. And SQL stands for Structured Query Language. Let's have an overview of my project. In this project, I will tell you what is database, what is SQL, what I learned from SQL, what are SQL courses, and at last the certifications. To start with database. As we know that data is a collection of information and database is a systematic collection of data. Database supports electronic storage and manipulation of data, and databases make data management easy, for example, online telephone directory. Now moving toward SQL. What is SQL? SQL is a domain-specific language which is used in programming and designed for managing data which is held in a relational database management system. SQL is also known as Structured Query Language. SQL statements are used to perform tasks such as updating data on a database or retrieving data from a database. So what SQL can do? SQL can execute queries against a database. SQL can retrieve data from a database. SQL can insert records in a database. It can update records in a database. It can delete, create, and new tables in a database. So these are the courses that I have learned in this SQL. First is Introduction to SQL, Joining Data in SQL, Intermediate SQL, Introduction to SQL Server, and the fifth one is Introduction to Relational Database in SQL. First, we will start with the introduction of SQL. In Introduction to SQL, I have learned 4 chapters: selecting columns, filtering rows, aggregating function, and sorting and grouping. And in selecting columns, I have learned following commands for selecting single column, how to select multiple columns, how to select all columns by using star, what is limit keyword, how to select distinct, and how to count. So starting with selecting single columns. So while SQL can be used to create and modify database, as we know, the focus of this course will be querying database. So what is query? A query is a request for data from a data table, and querying is an essential skill for a data scientist. So since the data you need for your analysis will often live in a databases. So in SQL, you can select data from a table by using a select statement. For example, the following query selects the name column from the people table. So we will select the name column from the people table. Second one is how to select multiple columns. So in the real world, we will often want to select multiple columns, and luckily SQL makes this really easy. And to select multiple columns from a table, simply we will separate the column names with commas. As we can see in the second example, the query selects 2 columns, names and birth date from the people table, and we will select name, comma, birth date from the people table. The third one is how to select all columns. Sometimes we may want to select all columns from a table, and typing out every column name would be a painful. So there is a handy shortcut. We will select all the tables by using a star from the people table. And if you want to return a certain number of results from all the columns, we can just use the limit keyword to limit the number of the rows that are returned. So in the given query, we will select all the columns from the people table, and if we are applying to first 10 columns, we will apply the limit 10. In the next examples, there is a distinct keyword. So we can use distinct keyword to select all the unique values from a column, and this might be useful. So for example, you have interested in knowing which language are represented in the film tables, we will select distinct language from the film's tables. And remember, we can check out the data in the tables by clicking on the table name, which we given in the SQL when we do examples. The second chapter is filtering rows. How to filter rows. So in the SQL, the where keyword allows us to filter based on both text and numeric values in a table, and there are different few comparisons operators which we can use. For example, we can use equal operator, we can use not equal operator, less than, greater than operators, less than or equal to operators, and so on. So in the first example, you can filter text records such as titles, and the following code returns all films with the title Metropolis. So we will select title from the film table where the title will be the Metropolis. Second, we will learn how to use where and an or in a SQL query system. During filtering results, we will often use where and clauses. Often you will want to select database on multiple conditions. We will build up our where query by combining multiple conditions with the and keyword. For example, we will select title from the films where the release year of the film will be 1994 or will be greater than 1994, and the release year will be less than 2000. The second one is between. Where to use or where we can use the command between in SQL. As we have learned, we can use the following query to get title of all films released in and between 1994 and 2000. So checking for range like this is very common. So in SQL, the between keyword provide a useful standard for filtering rows within a specific range. So this query is equivalent to the one above. We will select title from the film tables where release year will be between 1994 and 2000. The other command in filtering rows is where in. As we have seen, where is very useful for filtering results. However, if we want to filter based on many conditions, where can get unwidely. For example, we can see that we have select the names of the kids from the kids table where the ages of the kids are between 2 to 10. So while writing all the ages of the kids, we will just write select name from kids where age in 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We will use the in commands, and we enter the in operator, and the in operator allows you to specify multiple values in a where clause, making it easier and quicker to simplify multiple or conditions. So the next is applying is null or is not null operation. In SQL, null represent a missing or unknown value, and we can check for null values using the expression is null. For example, to count the number of missing birth dates in the people table. So we will select count from the people table where the birth date is null. And as we can see, is null is useful when combining with where to figure out what data you are missing. Sometimes we will want to filter out missing values, so we only get results which are not null. For doing this, we can use is not null operator. So for example, this query gives the names of all people whose birthdays are not missing in the people table, and we will write this query is select name from the people table where birth date is not null. The third chapter is aggregating function. Aggregating function is used for calculating data in a Datacamp. Often you will not perform some calculations on the data in a database. SQL provides a new functions which is known as aggregate functions, which is help out to find any kind of calculations in the SQL. So for example, here we have an average keyword. Average keyword gives you the average value from the budget column of the films table. So we can see that select average budget from the films table, and it will give us the budget column of the film. The second is max function. Similarly, the max functions returns the highest budget. We will select max budget from the films The sum function returns the result of adding up the numeric values in a column, and we will select all the budget from the films and so on. Combining aggregate functions with where. Now we will see how we can use aggregate function by using where. Different functions can be combined with the where class to gain further insight for your data. For example, to get the total budget of movie made in the year 2010 or later, we will select sum budget because we are going to get the total budget of the movies from the films where release year will be greater than or equal to 2010. The fourth and the last chapter of the introduction to SQL is sorting and grouping. So in sorting and grouping, we will learn two commands. One is order by and the second one is group by. So in the SQL, the order by keyword is used to sort results in ascending or descending orders, or ascending the value of one or more columns. But order by will sort in ascending order. So if you want to sort the results in descending order, you can use the word DESC keywords. For example, we will select title from the films where release year will be in the descending order. So in this way we can get our results. The second one is group by. Now we know how to sort results. Often we'll need to aggregate results. For example, we might want to count the number of male and female employees in our company. Here what you want is to group all the males together and count them, and group all the females together and to count them. In SQL, group by allows you to group a result by one or more columns like so. So we will select sex. We will count all from the employees tables, which will be grouped by sex. And at last, this is a certificate that I have gotten from SQL or from Datacamp. Thank you so much.